Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
Oh, it's my birthday today. It was like you got hitting them out with a slither or something. What?
Jesus Christ. Happy birthday.
Thanks a million. As I knew our birthdays were close together, like.
Yeah. I'll tell you about mine in a minute.
Oh Lord. Well, yeah, okay. I'll get my week. Apologies, everybody. By the way, welcome to the podcast. We have been late because we're late, and that's that. But you know what?
Apologies.
It is what it is. It's moving fucking ships in the night and whatnot. But look, the cool thing is, at least we have the teams and everything now. We know we're not just speculating. We know what's happening now. So anyway, my week gone by, very interesting week. I opened the brand new late and warmed up the super cool. It was very nice people. It's been a long time since I was, and almost unnervingly nice. Do you know, like, I'm just used to people going, well, how's it going? All right, yeah, great. But this was like, oh my God, hi Tom, hi. And I was like, all right. But it ended up being genuinely nice people. The audience were amazing. And in fairness to Keelty, he came out straight after the show. He said, who was doing the warm-up? I didn't get to see. And he walked over, and the two Johnnies were there. It was like, Tom, our mate Tom. And he comes over and he's like, dude, whatever. He said, I didn't get to hear properly because I was going over my notes, but you had him hopping by the time I came out. So, he didn't have to say it. I don't know how much he was listening, but it was a super cool thing to do. You know what I mean? Give me a hug, and it was like, oh, cool. So
that's class. Oh, that's so nice of him.
It really was, but like a ridiculously genuine bloke. Pretty much went around high everybody that was making the tea to everybody. Just a super cool guy, like. So it was very, very nice. Oh, it'll wear off. Listen, I'm there for the next few weeks, so it will wear off. Yeah, no doubt. He'd be like, could he ever hurt?
Oh, cool. But you're doing that for the next few weeks?
Yes, I'm doing the next 4 Fridays, I think. And they're talking about rotating, but the next thing, I got an email and it was like, actually, they really like you. So would you be around for a couple of more? I was like, yeah, hit me up. If I am, I am. If I is. So they were like, cool, because we have another couple of people that we'd like to go with, but at the same time, you didn't make a bollocks of it. So,
that's always good.
Always good. So came away with feel goods factor, and then I got free sandwiches. That's all I'm saying. Got paid.
Were they triangular?
They were triangular. A very nice woman by the name of Hillary, who gave me some great insights into how to keeping soft furnishings around the home smelling fresh but not overpowering. She was the woman who ran the green room. Mighty woman. She gave me lovely sandwiches going down the road. She goes, take them now. You're going back down to Tipperary. Take them with you.
What fillings?
Yeah, homemade coleslaw and pastrami beef. Would you believe? Yeah. A little, and I'd say there was a touching of mustard in there. Do you know that kind of way?
We kicked the old pastrami.
Nothing wild, like, but at the same time, when you break it down, you go, oh, somebody with a touch of class put this together. You know what I mean? I won for everybody, but at the same time, a nice sandwich now. And that was that. And then a couple of other gigs, something we were just talking about before we went live. A mutual friend of ours, Barry Murphy. I can't really go into the full nuts and bolts of it until it probably goes on sale and everything, but we are forming a comedy partnership. No, it will not in any way affect or rival what myself and Anna have, but I think Barry is slightly jealous. And I think that's why he actually contacted me. He was like, oh my God, Tom, please. And he called you Caplice, by the way. I went, hi. I says, hi, I know you're kind of posh Limerick and all the rest of it, but tone down the Caplice. I said, but you're not...
The problem is I've explained why it's not Caplice. But for that reason, I think Caplice is stuck in his and many other people's heads.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So,
and that was that. And the parents are up the road and they were gone for the week to Italy. So the responsibility befell me to look after our hens. And the last 2 fucking times that happened, a fox sniffed weakness in the air and killed a hen, or 2 or 3.
Fuck.
And you know what I mean, especially if it's early in the holidays. You've got like, oh God, they're coming back in 5 days now to explain the fucking dead hens. But thank be to God. But in fairness, they're as cool as a breeze. They're like, sure, if he did, he did. You know, they were like, don't relax about it, but you still don't want to.
Right.
You don't want to be
No, no, no.
the guy, like, you know. But no, through it all anyway. No fox attacks. A bunch more weirdness. I was teaching acting class, but more than anything, I'm only just fluffing around the scenario. I want to know because you left me a message going, wait till I tell you. So I need to know what went down.
You know what? When I met, so obviously we're late recording this week, which, yes, huge apologies to our listeners. I've had a few messages of people being like,
Yeah.
Is there a podcast this week?
Yeah.
So huge apologies. Let's blame Eileen Capeless, my mother. She came to visit La Rochelle and I had to look after her.
And immediately everybody just went, oh, sorry, I messaged now. Because if Mammy comes to visit, you can't give out about Mammy coming to visit.
But you know what? I felt bad because I was training one of the nights. So I literally just had to abandon her in La Rochelle one of the nights. And because I had to go training and like see the physio and stuff. So she's grand, like she was happy out. She was only enjoying, like, loving a few moments peace for me. But we stayed in a boat. Oh my God, so much has happened since I spoke to you last. I cannot tell you how lucky I am to be here right now.
What?
It was my birthday last Wednesday.
Yes.
And I tried very hard not to make it to my 34th birthday. And then there was other shit that happened afterwards. So, okay, right. I don't even know where to start with this because actually I think when I messaged you, because I was like, oh my God, Tom, I have a fucking story to tell you. I think I was maybe still in shock about it and maybe kind of laughing at it at that stage, but it's absolutely not a laughing matter at all. We spoke to you since. So actually this was happening and I didn't know it. Because we recorded our podcast last week on the Monday and we spoke that I was down in Bordeaux. But on the Sunday in Bordeaux, I met up with a few college friends and a few lads from Mallow and we went for food and we went for wine. And I ordered food for the table and it was great. And there was one thing that nobody would eat, but I ate them because, you know, it was on the menu and I wanted them. And I made one of the lads eat them. And
oh my God,
that was
Anna.
fine anyway. And come Wednesday, right? So Wednesday was my birthday. And a few of the lads who were cycling from Bordeaux to Nantes, I went down to meet them on the train, took my bike, and down on the train, and we cycled back. I was in Rochefort at about 10 a.m. to meet them for the cycle, right? And they got delayed on a boat, on a bridge, and they got stuck. So they arrived about an hour and a half late. When they got there, they were hungry. And then they had a problem with the bike. So it was like 2:00 and they didn't know it was my birthday at all. So 2:00 before we got on the road, I was like, lads, this is a fucking great way to spend my birthday. Just hanging around the square, watching them trying to pump the fucking tires. And they felt so bad. Then they were like, oh no. Anyway, we started our cycle class and it was so brilliant. And we were stopped at one stage for a quick orangina and a swim.
Lovely.
And when we were about to get back on the bikes, one of the lads, his name is Liam, but we call him Lamb, who was the friend that I made eat the food. He was like, starts laughing at a headline, and he was like, ha, botulism. And then he was like, hang on, this isn't fucking funny at all. And he was like, oh my God, somebody died from eating food in Bordeaux at the weekend, and a lot of people are very sick. And we were like, Jesus, that's terrible. And he goes through the article, and he's like, it was from eating sardines in the Chin Chin wine bar. And it, like, one step after the other, just got closer and closer to where we had eaten, what we had ordered, what I had made him eat. And we got an awful fright. And we were like, oh my God. But we got such a fright. And we knew that it was like the what we were reading was that within 18 to 36 hours is when you usually get the symptoms. And we were like, oh, we've made it past that. We're fine so high. And we were like laughing it off, but like it was a serious shock. And like by kind of Wednesday night, by the time we went out for dinner and stuff, we were kind of like laughing at it, which we shouldn't have been because we knew people were very, very ill, but it was just such a shock. Come Thursday, we had like people from the HSE contacting us. I spent half an hour on the phone to the French Public Health Service. like the doctor in La Rochelle was like, you have to go if you feel any which way in any like way unwell, you have to go immediately to emergency services. Like we were one of the last customers in there, I'd say, because we went on the Sunday and it closed down on the Monday. So
Holy fuck.
yeah.
Did you do the lotto? Holy shit. As they would say in Cork,
I should have done the
haunted.
lotto.
Fucking haunted. Like
it's terrible because obviously that man from Mayo was still very unwell, and his wife died,
yeah.
and she was from Greece. So you know, when I messaged you, I felt like it was kind of a funnier story than it was. But it's not funny like at all. We are so lucky that like there was jars of contaminated sardines on the shelf, and some of them which were potentially fatal and some which weren't, and we got some of the ones that weren't.
Back in the immortal words of Eddie Jones. Jesus. Of all the fucking things I would think to order in a wine bar, sardines would be so far away. I'd be like, where's the tapas, lads?
Menu, I ordered the first five items. First five items were like sharing items. I said, lads, are you all okay with those? And then they arrived, like, and the sardines arrived, and no one wanted them. I was like, would you not try them? Like, you're trying them because they're on the menu, you know? And if I saw sardines on the menu, I wouldn't order them. But because they're on a menu in a wine bar, you know, I wasn't like, ooh, sardines.
Okay, anyway, right? Because I was trying to get to that. I was like, because I didn't read into it enough, and in my head, I was like, I didn't fully get that it was a wine bar either. In my head, I was like, you know, the way in pubs during a match that you'd often see baskets of sausages going around and go, oh, of course. And like, even if you were, you know, even if you were religiously inclined, you'd still go, oh, sausage with a pint is lovely. But clearly this was a wine bar where you sit down and it's part of a tasting.
Yeah. So like we ordered like charcuterie and cheeses. And the only reason that I included the sardines in the order is because it went cheese, sardines, meat. So I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although, because I love when someone orders the food at the table.
Yeah.
So I tried to take control of the situation, and I was like, give us these. And then the sardines, like no one was eating sardines. I was like, lads, come on. And then Lamb ate one because I was like, come on, eat sardines. I would have felt so bad if I had killed Lamb. Like,
well, you would have felt so bad because you would have possibly be after killing yourself too. You know, you really genuinely would have felt bad. Holy shit!
I know.
Ye sidesteps. Like, oh my god!
Unreal. Like I still
of all
a little
the
bit in
fucking places you could have gone for a bite to eat.
Literally, like there's so many places. But one of the lads had found it. Like he looked up good wine bars. It has really good fucking reviews. Like I don't know what the hell is going to happen that bar now, and those people, like, they're in an awful lot of trouble. Yeah. So that was my story. And then, right, so I couldn't go to the game in Nantes the following weekend, which is such a shame. It looked so brilliant. I'm actually second, but we had a team weekend away with Stade Rochelet with the girls, and we were going out to a small island called Ile d'Aix. It's like tiny little island, like close to Ile de Ré. And
okay,
the French when the French health service on the phone, it was like, you have to be very, very vigilant, and you're not in the clear until Monday. So it's only earlier this week that we were in the clear, because of the incubation period of like, botulism. Oh my god. Anyway, I said to him, I was like, look, I'm due to go away to Ile d'Aix this weekend. I can imagine there aren't any emergency services there. Like, it's like Cape Clear, like,
right,
it's like Craggy Island. And he was like, up till now, like, all the lights have been green for you, so I think you'll be okay. But if you start to feel anyway unwell, call us and we'll send a helicopter straight away.
Jesus Christ. Right.
He said everyone who ate the sardines, their name is on a high priority list. He was even like, oh, we've been trying to find you. Are you the rugby player? It's like, what?
How did they have that much on you? Holy shit.
I have no idea. And he was,
wow.
Yeah. So he said that they had helicopters ready to go to any of the patients who were linked to the restaurant. So I was like, grand. I was like, so when I have a
Nice.
hangover on Sunday morning, I can just call up, get a helicopter home instead of taking the ferry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So, and then Saturday night, I had my one-man tent because that's all I have. Like, I'm lucky I have my tent in France because I wanted to do a bit of camping while I was there. So, went, we all camped, the whole team stayed in a tent. Trees falling down around us, lightning, thunder, fucking. I was like, if the fucking sardines didn't kill me, I'm gonna get a branch in the fucking head, and I won't make next week's podcast at all. So have been trying very hard to, yeah, to finish it all. So I'm still here. You'll be sad to know.
Wait, Jesus Christ. Was it, I mean, overall, what did it end up being a good night away with the girls?
Yeah. It was cool. We did orienteering. There's no cars there whatsoever, and it's all flat, and we just ran around the whole island, which is good for me because I can kind of getting back into running now with the injury in my foot. So we ran like 10K or something. Like
Jesus.
It was cool.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. And then had a pig on a spit. Yeah, it was class.
Deadly. Jesus. I'll be honest with you, I'm still rattled. I can't wait for this episode to get out. I mean, it'll be literally out immediately after this, but fucking hell. Botulism.
Yeah, it would.
Fuck.
I know, botulism. I'd never even heard of botulism. I didn't know about it. And like it's not, it can't be a lighthearted thing because of that the poor people who are still like suffering really badly from it.
It's
So
it's right up there, I think, with one of the, like, guess where Botox gets its name? Yep. Botox is 1/1,000th watered down botulism. Yeah, that's why it pushes out wrinkles and freezes your face and all the rest of it. And people are like, just get a little shot here. Like, really? You're going to keep doing that to your face? What's your head going to look like in 30 years? It's botulism. That's where Botox gets its name from. Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah, it's 1/1,000th. It's something like that. It's watered down by 1/1,000th to one or something like that. Yeah. So you're people are poisoning their faces in places when they don't
I
even
knew it
know.
was some sort of poison, but I didn't know it was related to botulism.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Someone else told me something crazy about botulism, that there was one case of it in Ireland like 10 years ago, and every hospital has like one vial for like prevention or treatment or whatever. And so for this one case about 10 years ago, they like used all of the vials in Ireland to like save this man's life. So they were saying, like, imagine how many hospitals had to be contacted to get the treatment to treat the people who had got it in France, in Bordeaux, like.
Jesus.
Fucking chin chin.
Chin chin. That's the fucking end of chin chin, I'd say. Fucking bye bye, I'd say. Chin
The
chin.
wine was very good, so can recommend the wine.
Well, look, lads, if they
Oh
open
my-
an offie down the line, you'll be all right. Just don't fucking eat the crisps. Don't be eating nothing.
An offie, a boffy.
Oh, fuck. Why, Jesus Christ.
Hey,
Anyway, we should really I know we should really talk about rugby. Where do you want to start?
yeah, I'll say hello to Dermot as well. I met Dermot's a big fan of the show. I met him
Oh,
out
tremendous. Barry, we got a message from Emma at the rugby experience, and Barry got an awful great kick out of being mentioned on the podcast. So fabulous.
Unreal.
Yeah, more than happy
I
to.
met loads of people this week. I suppose it's because there's rugby crowds around, but La Rochelle is heaving with Irish people. Met so many people who are like, Anna, can we have a picture? And
What-
like, I know you. And people who are like, have you played rugby before? And I'd be like, no, I haven't. They're like, you have. You do play rugby. I was like, oh yeah.
We need to get.
Loads of people.
What we need to do is develop our own jersey, not a T-shirt. Our own jersey. That's what we need to do. A Banana and Bear Rugby Podcast jersey, a cool one. And because whatever about me wearing it around the place, you need to be wearing it around the place.
Yeah, true, actually. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Bit of advertising here.
Yeah, well, you look like you're a rugby player. People know you as a rugby player. They just go, "Oh, you're a comedian, class. You're wearing a rugby shirt." So,
Well, I was telling you about Wednesday night. Actually, if I was wearing it Wednesday night, Because there's so many Irish people around, we were kind of going around looking for a sing song, and outside McNulty's in La Rochelle, there was loads of people, but there's no singing. So the lads are, how do we get a sing song going now? I was like, lads, right, the four of us now, we'll stand around and we'll sing to each other a few songs. We'll just serenade each other one by one, the small little group of four of us, and sure enough, they'll come and join us.
Yeah.
And literally about an hour later, we were kicking the ball around the street. Everyone's like, way! And like songs here and there, and we had a fucking great time last week. So, but it's been going on all week. Like, it kind of made sense. There's loads of Irish people in La Rochelle because they were coming from Bordeaux to Nantes, so it was en route. But after Nantes, one of the lads is telling me the fucking train back to La Rochelle was full of Irish people again. Everyone's just coming back to La Rochelle. But a lot of people are basing themselves there for the duration of the World Cup. It's kind of handy because it's not a host city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's in the middle, you know, it's over west, which isn't ideal, but you know, you're on the coast there, so it's actually, yeah, like some crack. So yeah, you're right. If we had thought of this earlier and got some
merch
t-shirts
on
made.
Yeah, merch on you everywhere. Just like a Banana and Bear Rugby podcast. Fucking watch, hair bobbins, whatever you gotta wear. Just walking around going, this whole thing. Well, this is my pot, you know.
Yeah.
We should really get into the rugby though. Did you get to see much over the weekend, avoiding death and whatnot?
Not much. I got to see the Irish match, which was nice. I'm glad I got to watch it, and then didn't get to see much else. What did we watch? Me and Mum watched Fiji in the pub.
Oh God, wasn't it beautiful?
Yeah. Delighted with that. Yeah, that was brilliant.
Do you know, I say that, and as I'm watching, I'm kind of going, because obviously, like, Fiji ended up winning 22-15 against Australia, and I mean, it's always funny to watch the most. Oh, by the way, for anybody, go watch the world's most awkward press conferences, the post match with Eddie Van Jones. Go watch that. It is one of the greatest, most cringe, hide behind your sofa. Oh, it's so cringy. It's amazing how cringy it is with Eddie. But they beat Australia for the first time in like 70 years or something. But it wasn't it wasn't like a hang in there, plucky underdog kind of thing. They beat the shit out of them. Like they played them. Like.
Yeah.
But
they definitely, go ahead. Sorry.
It kind of got me a little worried in one way. I'm like, okay, maybe they won't have the distance to go in this one, but by Jesus Christ, this is the foundations being now set for all the Pacific nations. And let's be honest, they make the best rugby players. They really do.
It's only right.
Yeah,
it's only right, and
it
that's
is.
like that. You know, the professional, like the Super Rugby team, like the Fijian. What's the Fijian Drua?
Yes, yeah.
They won the Super Rugby tournament. Do you know?
Yeah, right enough. Yeah.
So you know, that is the start of it. Like, it is happening, but it's so funny. I was reading a comment, I think it was on Facebook in some rugby group, and it was like, you know, me when I'm watching tier 2 nations do well, like maybe it was Fiji. Who did Fiji play in a preparation game?
Oh God.
And they were beat. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think they beat them, whoever they're playing, and they were like, oh wow, I love when the tier 2 nations start to do really well. I always cheer for them. And then Samoa comes out really strong against Ireland. It's like, no, not like that. You know? So we're all like, oh, Fiji, until we have to play them. We're like, fucking Fiji. Can't believe they made this rule so that they could get all their players back. That's so unfair.
But and the conflicting mind of mine was halfway through. I want Fiji to get to a point where I don't like Fiji anymore. Do you know what I mean? I want, do you know, I want them to be like South Africa. They're really fucking good.
They deserve it.
Oh, they do, yeah.
You know,
but
especially when you see, you know, like Samir Andrada, like lighting up the Premiership, and such a, you know, and then it's just it's so comforting. It's so what's the word I'm looking for?
Wholesome.
Comforting, and not in a positive way, to know that when they go back to, you know, someone like Sammy Andrade now, who you would fear in the Premiership, or other like Islander players, and then they go back to Fiji and you're like, oh, like, well done, you did so well. Now it's going to be like, holy shit, we get to fear them both at club and at their country. Like, as in, we're actually kind of super delighted or secretly delighted that their home nation teams have been shit because we know how fearsome they can be. So we're all fucked essentially.
Yeah, because they make
We
the
better win
greatest.
this World Cup quick.
Yeah,
We
quick,
better win it
because
quick
if
because we're
all those
done now. That's
if
the end of
all,
it.
if all those fuckers come around are a bunch of whiteys, all the other whiteys around the place ain't got a chance against these greatest athletes on earth in every position. They all are. But yeah, it was. It
Do
was.
you
It was.
listen to?
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. Do you listen to Max Lahif?
Oh,
Uh,
I love Max Lahif. He's
oh,
such a
he's
brilliant
such a
weirdo. Like,
legend.
he's
Yeah,
so
I love him.
brilliantly
He was
weird.
saying what he was saying about um the whatever team it was, and he was like coming up against these tiny little Caucasians.
Oh, it was South Africa. It was these high felt warriors coming up against
Yeah.
these withered
And what did he call?
Caucasian.
What did he call your? What did he call them?
They were like withered Caucasian. These minnows, yes, from Europe,
So
yes.
accurate.
He's
So accurate.
Yeah, oh god, he's somebody to follow, Matt Leaf, and just watch, flick through and listen to some of the mad shit and interviews he's given. He's like something out of, if you mixed up Lord of the Rings with Shakespeare and then dumped it into a rugby player who is an
He's
amazing athlete,
excellent.
but he's so, like
God,
his cooking videos. I got up out of bed once after watching his cooking video and went and made pasta. I don't know. The word aroused is wrong, but I was so inspired by it. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, he makes everything sound fucking delicious into the mic.
the
He's
wonderful way with words. He's definitely a
oh,
poet of some
he is. Yeah, he definitely has an amazing way.
unbelievable growth there for Bristol.
But there was
Anyway,
yes, go ahead.
no, just saying. Anyway, we should talk about the actual rugby. But in terms of last weekend, there like I think it's kind of behind us now. Finally, we finally get to find out what this Irish team is made of.
Yes, and yeah, I mean, it's that far gone. Any rugby podcast people have been listening and whatnot to podcasts throughout the week, so you know the results from the weekend. Japan looked kind of good in spots against England, but of course England kicked the living bollocks off the ball, ended up winning it. But anyway, screaming ahead to you. We were texting back and forth during the match, and you weren't overly against Tonga. You weren't overly inspired, but you were saying maybe it's the commentary I'm listening to too. But
yeah, again, the comms thing, listening to the commentary sways how you feel.
of course it
I
does.
was
Yeah,
like, I wasn't. I literally, anytime anything went wrong, I was like, South Africa are going to kill us.
yeah. To be
Things went
honest,
wrong a lot.
they did. But I think Ireland. I don't know. I thought Ireland looked. They looked like they only had to hit second gear. Genuinely, like Johnny came off after
That's
50
fair enough.
minutes. Like the more as the week goes on, and I mean we could talk for 2 fucking hours of this, so we may as well just mill into Ireland versus South Africa, and that's all people will want to hear about. It's the more the week has gone on, and the mad shit that's gone on, and I swear, I honestly, and this is totally getting off the fence early doors. I can see us beating them by 20 points. I'm not fucking codding you. I'm not codding you. And this is not some hairy. When I've mathematically started breaking down, going, hold on 1 second now. Hold on, these mad bastards. They've no Lacanya am. So that's like losing Gary Ringrose, right? They have essentially Manny LeBlanc. He doesn't inspire me. I don't know. I mean, if my kicker can't kick, then I know you've Faf, who's amazing and all the rest of it, but you just want your boss in it. You know what I mean? And that no look kick shit, I don't want to see any of that. I don't care. I don't want to see any of that. I want to see a boss. And you compare him to Johnny Sexton. They've lost Malcolm Marks, who's Dan Sheehan. You know what I mean? And they do not have a backup. They don't. They have, what's his name? I'm going to say his name wrong. It's not Mapimpi was out in the wing. What is the backup hook? He's
Manambi.
Manambi. Now, he's the strongest guy they have, but he ain't going 80 minutes. And they've got a flanker lined up to be a hooker. Can you imagine licking your lips on a scrum if a flanker
Yep.
all of a sudden goes in? Do you know?
Well, if you've your seven forwards on the bench, the hookers just staying there.
Do you know what? This is
Imagine
it.
the hooker just knowing you're going to have to play 80 minutes against Ireland. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
So what do you make? What did you could you believe you went for this? I'm still skeptical that come Saturday morning, the mad hurl turn around and go, actually, we have another injury there. Evan isn't making it back, so we're actually going to go 6-2 instead.
Yeah, I wonder how much of like the early announcement, etc., is tactical and how much the previous 7-1 was tactical, because as whoever I was listening to today made a great point, and it's completely true, you know, it's not a sustainable method,
No,
because all it takes is one game to go wrong where you literally more than one injury in the backs in 7 players. And you're kind of fucked. So how much of it is I've loved it now, I must say, the drama around the 7-1.
oh, I love it. I love it.
The 7 forward. So we were talking about it last week and like seeing all the 7 forwards. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm so tired of all the working out. Are we going to be in South Africa? We're literally talking about this game for months.
I know.
We're so close to it. Like I'm just so I just want it to be game day already. Like I'm so excited. I'm so scared, but I'm so like fucking like yeah.
I don't
like,
believe that the Irish team are in any way scared, and not in a cocky way. I think everything that the big boss has put in front of him and told him will happen has happened. Like literally, they've gone 15 games winning well. Do you know what I mean? Winning and winning, and not in any just kind of scraping it taking it from the jaws of defeat kind of fucking wins, winning and winning well.
No.
Do you know
Yeah.
there seems to be like almost an air of calmness. And I mean, did you please tell me you saw that photograph? I posted it today, but a load of rugby
That's going
players.
around the bike.
Oh,
It's all over the place. I love
oh,
it.
oh. But
It's funny that whoever it was obviously sitting down having a coffee.
can you?
I was like, oh my God, look at the lads, and took a picture instead of taking a video.
Do you know what? The picture tells a thousand words, because Keith Earls is
I
just
agree.
sitting.
I actually kind of love that that's all. That no, there wasn't a big group of people
No,
and there aren't like videos from all the different angles. It's just the one.
just the one photo he made it, and Earl's on the back, like a lad who has sat on the back of a bike his entire life, like is cool.
Yeah,
And they just look like that's how they travel on a daily basis. Like Earl's with the phone, just kind
I
of sitting
know.
there going, "Yeah, lad, yeah."
I know. Oh, but yeah, exactly.
Like
But it is, just looking at like his core muscles, like I was like, oh my God,
yes,
so handy for him being so strong, like just sitting like that. Because like, yeah, exactly, he's traveling like that on the bike. I kept thinking like, whose bike is it? Because it's not like a rental. Could be like it was from the hotel or wherever they're staying. I don't know. I was like, whose bike is that?
here's the thing: if Peter O'Mahony walks down to reception and goes, "Here, where I get my hands on a bike," there'll be 10 people working there. Go, please have my bike, sir. Do you know?
Who's my bike?
You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
tell,
yeah.
does it have a carrier on the back? Like, because I want to put Earlsy on
Yeah.
there. We're heading down for ice cream.
But the photo is from yesterday, is it?
Yes, yeah, it
Photo
seems to
from
be from
yesterday,
yesterday. Are they in
or is it from
Paris?
this morning? Because I was thinking that because Wednesday seems a weird day to go to Paris, does it?
I don't know.
Especially when they're in tour, like
Maybe they're still in tour then, and
yeah,
maybe that's how they tip around the place. Earlsy just sits on the back. Right, Pete, off you go, and he's the one
yeah,
cycling. Teddy's cycling, and
yeah.
Earlsy is on the
And
back.
and especially like they've obviously figured their way around tour. So they know like, oh, we know this nice coffee place, we'll go there on the bike to save the legs. So probably is tour. Because in Paris they wouldn't know their way around as much.
They didn't actually look like tourists. They looked like two gurriers. Do you know what I mean? They
Oh
actually
no,
looked
no,
like
they knew where they were off to.
they
Yeah,
knew
yeah.
where they were going. No helmets, no
No, it
nothing.
was definitely functional, like what they were doing. They weren't
Yeah,
out for a jolly. They were going for a coffee, saving the legs. and making it back. Even like they've got their like fucking Peter Manny's Crocs, like how hilarious. The Crocs. And the fact that he had to kind of cycle with his heels so that he wasn't kicking Keith Earl. So his heels are like forward, so his kind of toes are bent over the top of the pedals.
That's
I was laughing at that. It was very funny.
that's a duo that know each other's dynamics sitting on a bike in that exact way. They
Yeah.
I mean, nothing would have beaten it. The only thing that would have beaten it would have been like Mac Hansen on the handlebars. Just with leaning back into Pete's shoulder, kind of like the Titanic fucking pose, like just.
I know. Oh my God, how gas.
By the way, I
Um,
just need to, as we just say, while it was a convincing win against Tonga and all the rest of it, can we just take a moment? I know Charles Piutau's cheers, Charles Piutau and poor old, poor old Hugo Keenan definitely got a roasting for his 2 ghost tackles, but Mac Hansen doing the Charles Piutau on Charles Piutau and then beating 3 more players after that, you're like, can we
he's
just press
enjoying
pause?
himself.
Can we just press pause on life in the middle of that happening and just cue Celine Dion? Because the whole place was like, take a bow, sir. Take a bow. You just like
Yeah.
so
No.
cool. So cool.
Yeah. I know.
So if you're
I
so
know he's
frightened
so cool.
if you're so frightened of this South Africa match, what is it you're frightened of? Ireland getting beaten by just superior strength, or Ireland failing, pissing the bed? Like, or what is it that has you rattled? Where do you see it? Where do you see us getting crunched?
Um, maybe a slight kind of not as connectedness as we had coming out of the Six Nations. Small bit off the beat, which we look to have been in the other matches, but the other matches haven't been real, like, really, really pushing us at times. I don't know. I think the just how like the physical nature of South Africa, like stopping our forward pod at the source.
I guess, but I mean, we seem to deal with that smartly against them in November. Do you know, I think
Yeah.
if you know what's coming, you know what I mean? If you know it's a couple of, monstrous humans coming, like
Mm.
they'll surely have prepared for that. I mean, the things you can prepare for is getting monstered in the scrum. That's just, unless you're really cute in the front row, which, let's be honest, Porter and Altaigi are. That and the
Mm.
line out probably has me a little bit if you're thinking, oh no, Jesus.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, oh sugar, sorry. I'm trying to still imagine that the line out they still have some line outs that they are holding back
Oh, for sure, they
and that
have
they
to be. If
know
it's Paul
exactly what
O'Connell,
they're doing.
it's Paul O'Connell, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if case in point, if you want to know about or if people want to go, well, how much different could a guy lineouts are so technical. Victor Matfield was with the Portugal team for a week. And if anybody wants to go back and watch possibly
Yeah, so good.
one of the most fun line out tries of all time. The no look pass. Now, never mind Manny Libak with his crossfield kicks, no looks, and all the rest of it. Talk about slick Rick with that no look drop down pass off the line out for
Yeah, it
Portugal.
was so cool. It was such a great line out move, and it just absolutely sold the defenders up the river. And like, oh, such a great try for Portugal. Like, um, how fun to score that try. Like it, but did you see then how we're celebrating? It was a pure like tier two, not we know we didn't really deserve this try kind of a celebration. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, that comes from half the poor old devils. Should half them are plumbers, sure, and block layers, sure.
No, sure, sure, I know.
Can you imagine it?
I
Like,
know. Actually, in terms of that as well, like did you see the injury to the Namibian player?
oh, I did. Oh, I did. Oh, Jesus, Jesus,
Now,
Jesus.
thank fuck, because I get very squeamish. I didn't see it. I didn't see anything. I did see a picture afterwards, but that's
Oh,
my buddy LaRue. We played together for the Honey Badgers last year in South Africa. And the first day I met him, we were the whole Honey Badgers team was inside in the swimming pool doing a recovery session, and I was speaking to him about rugby and asking him where he plays. He plays for the New England Free Jacks in the States, and he was telling me in the pool that day, like the first day I met him, that was going to try and play for Namibia at the World Cup, that he was like on a mission and it was his mission, and so he made it and like got selected. I've been following him all year and like texting him and like, good luck and like, well done, and I can't believe you made it, and like, remember you telling me about it in the pool and so proud of you. And then like, to get such a bad injury, but like just the nature in which it happened has been like, Anton Leonard Brown went and visited him, and I think they watched Australia Fiji together, like in the hospital, and
did
he's
he?
such a lovely fella, and like he got so many messages, and it was such a huge, like, it's some kind of weird consolation, I think. I hope for him anyway. It's just so sad that like
Oh, it
he
was
had worked
gross.
so hard. And like, so sorry, that was my point you were saying about like, plumbers and whatever. Like these lads, they'd be watching, Portugal and Namibia and, the tier 2 nations and the kind of, the lower ranked teams. They'd be watching, the All Blacks and Ireland and South Africa on the telly every weekend after their own games before, going back into work on the Monday. So like, yeah.
Going up against those scenarios. Yeah. And no fairness, going up against those. And I mean, I guess he would have had the conditioning, at least playing with the New Jacks and stuff like that. He would have had conditioning for it, but it was just one of those free. Oh, God, I don't even fully want to talk about it because I watched it. And when you look at something for a moment, you're like, what? No. Oh, fuck. I was right the first time. Jesus Christ. I'm after seeing it twice.
But I thought they didn't replay it.
Oh, they fucking did. They fucking did for a split second. And it was like, no, sorry, I saw it. No, I beg your pardon. I saw it. I had missed it in that match because I was dipping in and out of that match. So I missed it. But I watched it on YouTube or Instagram and it rolled around really super quick. So I looked closely the second time. Balix. But yeah, I mean, it's a dream come true, and technically the guy got to play at the World Cup, which is amazing, and hopefully Godspeed for a fast recovery on that one. I mean, coming out of the World Cup, he should get really good attention and stuff like that. But rolling back to South Africa, Ireland, so it kicks off 8:00 Ireland time. Where will you be watching it?
Now, I love my friends, but their wedding. So I'd say I'll be watching it on the screen on the table. Now they say they'll have it on in the pub or in the bar at the wedding, but I'd say we'll still be having it anyway. So it'll be on a little next to the wine, I'd say.
Yeah. And half the room with you as well. Like, yeah, no, I get it. Jesus Christ.
They're making the speech and be like, no.
Oh no, sorry, keep going. You're grand. Yeah, it's
fucking oh no.
I do. It's
There's anybody here that knows of any lawful reason why these two should be held fucking offside.
What's your fucking problem? Jesus Christ, hands like tits. No, fire away, father. Keep going there. You're grand.
He's like, oh, she's the most beautiful bride I've ever seen. Go to fucking Specsavers.
I the thing that was and why I talk about being up and Manny Libbok is while he is class with ball in hand and all the rest, it's the 3-6-9 getting a lead, which he cannot do. He don't have the fucking minerals for it, does he, Turkish? Which is something that, you know what I mean? Because it's going to be a bit of an arm wrestle for the first 30 minutes or whatever. I feel
like you really dislike Manny Libbok. I think you're just going to be on his case from
I'm not got he annoyed my radar that day.
Yeah.
He did that fucking schoolboy shit in the URC final. You're like, motherfucker, you're about to get owned. And which he got owned then, and you're like, okay, I do like, no, I just And I've never sat comfortably with the French thing, which was a French thing with a lot of teams where they would allow the scrum half to do the kicking, the petit le général or whatever they would call it. And that never sat right for me. It's whether if you're the boss, you're the boss. Take the fucking ball and kick the fucking thing over. You know what I mean? This is not, it shouldn't be up for discussion. Hey, would you like to kick it? Unless it's, say, 50 meters out and over on the left wing. You're like, all right, James Lowe, you want to give it a crack? Off you go. But I just, for me, that would be the one thing. I do love the evolution rugby when I'm old school when it comes to give it to the number 10 to do all the fucking kicking. And I don't want to see nobody doing nothing else unless his leg is busted. I don't want to see nobody doing nothing else. I nearly would have started Conor Murray. He played out of his skin, and he showed us at the last match. He showed us what he has that none of the other scrum halves has, in that he can make breaks like a flanker. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. There was a kind of an online discussion as well during the week, and but Jamison Gibson Park hasn't really put many toes out of line either. Talking about like South Africa are kind of responsible for this as well, just like changing your role. Conor Murray has, been in this position now of coming onto the pitch. He knows what to do. He knows how to handle it. He knows how to be up. And they could to switch that around and change that role and put that in James Gibson Park is probably a bit much to ask at this stage.
I get you. Yeah. That does make sense. It's better to have a closer like Murray than yes. Yeah.
Which is shit, and it probably in time you could change it, but not today, like not this weekend, so
it's true. That was the thing. I was kind of going, well, they're going to try and dirty every ruck and drive through it, which may slow it down. And if Jamison Gibson Park, because he's a slight enough individual, if he isn't getting an armchair ride and good ball presentation, he's kind of nullified. Whereas Murray, he's a unit in itself. He's 6'1". He can go digging in for the ball, and if he doesn't like what he sees, he can take off for a run, and he isn't getting smashed. He'll break through the gain line, like, you know what I mean. So that was my only kind of thing. But then I might be totally wrong. If our lads can get,
I'd say JGP can handle it.
JGP,
Conor Murray.
Yeah. No, there was bitch moaning and complaining today at the announcement. From what I could see, a lot of people on Instagram complaining that Ross Byrne should be on the bench and not Jack Crowley. For whatever reason. There was no justification for it. They were just going, Jack shouldn't be there. Should be, Ross. And you're like, well, if you want a guy who can play 12 very well, in fact, as well as playing 15 as well, it's Jack Crowley. And I think Jack Crowley is really, the last few times I've seen him, he's like, oh God, he looks like he could be the boss. If you told him he was the boss, he looks like he could be the boss. Like, there's no apology on his face. Like,
yeah, it's obviously behind closed doors kind of a thing, because both of them can do it, is the thing.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
So what do you do with the decision? Like, what are you rewarding something? Are you punishing something? Yeah, it's not punish isn't the right word to use, but I don't know. That's tough for whoever kind of just missed out, because that's the game you want to play in,
Of course, but I mean, it's one eye on the future too. You have to kind of look at what's coming down the line after the World Cup. And Ross, his profile, you know what I mean? Like, it's all fine to put all your is how many, is it the plural of eggs in Irish? Is it just again?
Ivana.
Oh, Jesus Christ, we're learning something. And nuts.
But pannier French for basket.
Oh, nuts. Is that cannoli in Irish?
Two.
Good, because my child asked me to.
A one.
Yes, because he came running over with he'd cracked open a sweet chestnut and he held it. He went, "What's nut in Irish?" And I went, "Okay, go to the file of the Rolodex in my brain. Canona." He went, Canona. I went wandering off with that. I went, Jesus Christ, I better ask Anna later. But thank God it popped up in my head.
Just call him anything. He'd be like, "This for Colleen Banya."
No, but see, I'd have to stick with that lie forever then. forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
where are your confidence levels at before we sign off for the evening? Because this is I mean, okay, so it's pretty much Ireland picked as we imagined. A couple of changes, and Jack Crowley comes onto the bench. Conor Murray doesn't start. Craig Casey drops off the bench, and James Gibbs-Park starts. Everything else is as you were. South Africa have put out the best they can, but they've got 7-1 on the bench with no reserve hooker. Now, it's in a neutral venue. You just told me that Ireland, as supporters, are fucking tearing up trees over there. I wouldn't like to be like, you can be as loud and as vocal as you want as a South African fan, but there is no fucking way. If there was a World Cup for fans and you're seeing it firsthand, Jesus Christ, you're dancing around sardines over there, for God's sake. That's how hardcore of a fan you are.
Well, like lol, you know, to use the pun, that literally the trams, like before the Bordeaux game, after the trams were like sardines in a tin. Any of the public transport was like Irish sardines in a tin.
Yeah.
Any like buses and like sing songs, like a traveling sardine tin. That's what the Irish fans are like.
We're just going to keep on mentioning sardines, aren't we? Great.
Yeah. Because, but that's what it was like. Like I had said that already. Like anyway, but maybe I actually think it's good. There'll be a lot of very loud and a lot of South African fans there, like loads, but definitely will be outnumbered by Irish. But it's good that they'll be there because that'll get more of a flurry up for the Irish fans.
Oh yeah,
because like at the Romania now was, you know, there were very few Romania fans to come. At least the Tongans were probably like pushing it further now because the Tongans are very vocal like support, but there'll be it's gonna be unbelievable. John, you were asking about my confidence levels. Maybe I'll just say, yeah, do you know what? Fuck, we're gonna fucking win it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
think I've just been scared. And I think, you know, we're asking about like, oh, getting bullied up front or the line out or this. I think all of those things, they actually don't fucking care. I think what's scaring me is just past World Cups and just how Ireland have, you know, beating the All Blacks before the World Cup was the worst thing that could have ever happened to us. So I'm skeptical that coming in as world number one and being as good as we have been doesn't always do you the favors that it could or you think it might. So I just think I've just been scared to hope. But anyway, I think Ireland has been one of the least teams affected by injury. And it's kind of a glue that's hasn't like needed to shift too much. Andy Farris, the squad seems to love it. We have Mac Hansen. Maybe we'll fucking win it.
Yes. Fucking come on. Yes. That's all I wanted to hear. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what anybody fucking says after that. I don't give a fuck. Come at us. Come at us, fucking Antipodeans. Come at us. We're going to fucking win.
Fuck. I can't wait to talk to you next week now. Whatever happens, I hope we're both here.
Yeah. Just whatever happens next week, we're both like, oh, jeez. Well, or fucking told you.
Avoid cured snacks.
Next.
And we might be back singing next week. I don't know where I'll be. Will I still be in Mallow back in La Rochelle by the time we chat this week? Probably still in Mallow.
We'll call it Mallow Shell for now. Just the hybrid.
Mallow Shell.
Malifornia. She'll be there somewhere anyway. She'll be somewhere. Right. We're going beating the living shit out of the Springboks at the weekend. I'd say I'm going up to about 65 points at this stage. I'd say it'll be an absolute fucking whitewash. They'll be down to about 7 men because we'll beat them that fucking hard. Our discipline will be impeccable again because we've got 2 yellow cards in 25 games, by the way, in case anybody fucking notices that. Nobody was picking up on that. And Peter O'Mahony was fuming going off. And even O'Mahony was unlucky to get it. Like it wasn't something where he'd go, well, I belted you. So it was a bit of a side entry. 25 fucking games, 2 yellow cards, unheard of. almost a clean bill of health. So I'd say, fuck it. I have to agree with Anna Capeless over there. We're going to kick the living shit out of them. I'm having fucking no backward steps on this. We will see you back next week. We'll try at some stage in the next few days to get a couple of more of the How to Rugby rugbies, but life has been wild for the two of us at the minute. The very fact that we're able to get any kind of a podcast out. Anna is probably going to be up in a hen house somewhere in, I don't know, maybe Antarctica or something next week. We'll see where we find her. That's the excitement of this.
Yeah.
So, till next week, Ihawa.
Slán a bhaile.
It's the Banana and Bear